But we know that Trump doesn't. We know that the fake President Trump doesn't really like democracy. That's only the conclusion that can be drawn from the latest statements, which undercut confidence in the fake presidential election now less than 100 days away. On Thursday morning, he fired off this tweet designed to alarm people and distract from the worst quarterly GDP loss in recorded American history. With universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good, 2020 will be the most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. It will be a great embarrassment to the USA, which technically Trump embarrasses us anyway. That's just how he is. Until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. He says, make no mistake, this is the fake sitting president of the United States who is seeking a second term, which he won't get, floated an idea of delaying the upcoming election. There's something America has never. This is something that America has never done, even in the depths of a civil war. But Trump's comments are part of a pattern from his team. In an interview with Time magazine last May, Trump's dumbass son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was asked if he was willing to commit that the elections will happen on November 3rd due to the coronavirus. He answered, I'm not sure I can commit one way or the other, but right now, this is the plan. The princeling was immediately slammed then for his weak grasp of the facts that the timing of elections is determined by Congress, not the fake president, according to the U.S. Constitution. But that basic rule was still news to Attorney General Fat Fuck Barr when he was asked a hearing before the Judiciary Committee this week by Congress, Cedric Richmond, whether a fake presidential election would be single-handedly delayed by the fake president. He says, actually, I haven't looked into that question under the Constitution, the Fat Fuck Barr said. The correct answer for those playing at home is hell no. We do not delay elections in the United States, and in any case, the fake president doesn't have that power under the Constitution to change it. But Fat Fuck Barr's rhetorical shrug is either a statement of basic ignorance from a smart man entrusted to protect and defend the Constitution, or it is another tell from a Trump toady who is reluctant to contradict his boss or the cause of expanded presidential power. Keep in mind that in the same congressional hearing, Fat Fuck Barr had to be asked twice whether it was ever appropriate for a fake president to ask a foreign power to interfere in the election on their behalf before he croaked no. Delaying the election is not an option for a fake president. Even during a pandemic with 155,000 people dead, when he is falling behind in the polls, so why is he doing this? This dangerous game is really part of an extended effort by the fake president to sow the seeds of doubt in the legitimacy of the election if he loses. He says, "Don't take my word for it, but listen to the fake President Trump in his interview with Chris Wallace last weekend, whether he asked would he accept the results of the election. He says it depends. I think mail-in voting is going to rig the election. I really do. This is what Trump said. Are you suggesting that you might not accept the results of the election?" Wallace prodded. Trump responded, "No, I have to see." This is part of the pattern of recent statements from Trump preemptively calling the 2020 election results rigged. As of July 26, when he retweeted rigged election, and everyone knows it. No, they do not. If anybody's going to rig the election, it's going to be the Republicans. And that's one of some 40 times this year alone that the fake President Trump had called the fake President Trump had called the upcoming election rigged. The usual target that triggers him is mail-in voting, a common form of absentee voting that is predominant in 5 states and counted for roughly 25% of the votes that were cast in 2016. Trump insists it is a major source of voter fraud, while Fat Fuck Barr has suggested without evidence that it could be a tool of foreign interference. In fact, studies show that the rate of mail-in ballot that is considered fraud is a minuscule 0.0025% chance. Let's be clear. This is a desperate, self-interested attempt at undercutting our democracy by a frightened narcissist who is terrified that he will be exposed as a fucking loser, which he already is anyway. And he's willing to dismantle faith in our democracy to avoid that personal gain. That is a hostile action that his partisan defenders on this count are gleefully aiding and abetting. Witness the comment by GOP Senator Kevin Cramer to CNN about Trump's tweets to delay the elections. I think that if you guys take the bait, he'll be the happiest guy in town. I read it. I laughed. I thought, my gosh, this is going to consume a lot of people, except real people, and it was clever. In other words, don't worry, be happy. Now imagine Cramer's response to former President Barack Obama had said something even remotely similar. Threats to delay our elections or undercut faith in the results should not be a partisan issue. This cuts to the core of who we are as a democracy. It is exposing again just how much hyper-partisan rot has addled the brains of so many senior elected officials from an allegedly co-equal branch of government. Remember, Trump also repeatedly refused to say whether he accepted the results of the 2016 election, believing that if he did lose, as polls showed he would, accurately reflecting the popular vote but not the electoral outcome. But since he started squatting in the LA House, Trump has consistently acted and ways to expand presidential power and dismantle democratic norms. With the quiescence of Senate Republicans, and we know from former Trump aides like John Bolton that Trump tries to do favors for dictators and often expresses admiration for their uncontested power. This was an instinct and evidence long before he entered politics, as when he praised China's Communist Party for violently crushing the protest of the country's own citizens in Tiananmen Square. And of course, he has consistently refused to condemn or confront Russia's Vladimir Putin, who most recently declining to even discuss intelligence reports that Russia paid bounties to Taliban leaders to kill U.S. troops, despite having repeated calls with the autocratic leader. This is not a joke. This is a democracy that Trump is playing with, and he's making his intentions known in plain sight. Unless the election is a blowout, Trump will almost certainly contest the results, which could lead to unprecedented chaos. This will be compounded by the massive number of absentee and mail-in votes that will be cast during COVID, possibly keeping the nation from knowing the winner until well after Election Day. It is a nightmare scenario that could make the United States look like a failed state. In the middle of a bloody civil war, a far greater crisis than we face, Abraham Lincoln heard suggestions that he delayed the 1864 election, and it looked to many like he would lose, but he rejected that advice, later explaining, "We cannot have the free government without elections, and if the rebellion could force us to forego or postpone a national election that might fairly claim to have already conquered or ruined us." The same logic applies today. But Trump is the anti-Lincoln, the prime driver of our destabilization rather than a reconciler who aims to heal our divided nation. Trump is making his intentions clear, so it is up to us. It is up to the rest of us to buckle up for a fight to save the Republic against a fake president who would do anything he can to hold on to power regardless of the rules, including destroying trust in our democracy. So, let's see here. I just got back from the Dollar Tree also, and I had to look, and I was looking for bookmarks because some stores have them, some don't. I know Meijer did. I was at Meijer yesterday where I work at, and they didn't have bookmarks. At least the only ones they had were the girly kid kinds, like like the bitch from Frozen, which I'd never seen the movie and I don't care to. So I had to check a couple of different Dollar Tree stores today. The first one that's down the street from my house, I went in there trying to look for bookmarks, and usually the bookmarks would be right where the book section is, and they don't have a very big book selection. But I went to the first one that was down the street from my house, tried to find bookmarks, didn't find it. So the next closest Dollar Tree to me would be the one down the street from my job. And it's in a little mini outlet mall. So I got two of them. So here's one. It looks like it's pink, purple, and blue, or like a light pink there. That's one of them. And then here's another one that I got here, and this one looks like a dark purple, a dark pink, and a reddish color. So I got those two. So that's 6, and that should be good for right now. Because I don't have a lot of bookmarks. I only have like 1 or 2, and I like to keep multiples because sometimes I'm one of those people that will sometimes for me I like to read, so I like to be able to have multiple bookmarks because sometimes I'll be reading 2 books at one time, or I go back and forth between reading 2 books within a week. So that's what helps me out with that. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Ryan Van Wyk. And then also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.